ever get lonely, I got these goals to keep me company. I took the rear view off of this old Ford, so I only see in front of me. Now the past is out of sight and out of mind. Swore I'd change, now I'm back chasing these white lines. I'm just a long-haired son of a sinner.
Babe, I need to lay on my stomach so I can tan my back.
Babe, this is what you always do. I hate the beach.
Babe!
Oh, that was cold.
Mountain Dew Typhoon. Can you handle it? One of 3 new flavors of Mountain Dew. You choose which one stays.
Right now, we are in a state of emergency.
Pure devastation.
We've been pulling people out since last night.
Unbelievable and apocalyptic. The town of Lahaina in Maui destroyed by wildfires and, quote, basically gone.
Kill track 5205.
Target acquired. Killing track
2, 1, fire.
Laser weapons have long been a staple of science fiction, but in recent years, significant strides have been made in their development and deployment by the United States military. With the potential to revolutionize modern warfare, these directed energy systems offer unprecedented speed, precision, and versatility in engaging and neutralizing various threats.
Mark Twain was famous for saying, "Everyone complains about the weather, but no one ever does anything about it." Well, obviously, to control the weather, you'd have to have superpowers. A simple thunderstorm has more energy than a hydrogen bomb. So to control the weather is very difficult. The CIA tried it during the Vietnam War. They tried to seed the clouds with crystals, iodide crystals, that form nuclei to form rain clouds to stimulate a monsoon season. The CIA did not like the Viet Cong, and the Viet Cong would operate in the jungles. So why not stop them in their tracks by seeding the clouds and creating an artificial monsoon? Well, that was a failure. And it's very humbling knowing that many countries have tried to control the weather. None of these harebrained schemes have actually worked.
The first step in understanding one's power is learning the extent of it. Only then can we begin the process of teaching you how to control it. If you do decide to stay, I can promise you that by the time you're done here, you'll be able to go back into the world and play a stable and productive part in it. Why don't you take your bandages off and we can have a look at what we're dealing with here? Alex, would you line him up? Face him in the right direction, as it were. There's a target just across the water. When you open your eyes, try and hit that. You can open your eyes, Scott. There's nothing to be afraid of. It's quite...
This guy saw this tree in a forest on fire only on the inside. This tree was struck by lightning, and when lightning passes through the tree, the sappy interior is a better conductor than the wood, causing a fire from just within.
My grandfather planted that tree when he was 5 years old. I used to swing from the branches of it myself.
The Air Force Research Laboratory conducted a test at the White Sands Test Range in New Mexico, successfully shooting down multiple air-launched missiles in flight using a fiber optic laser. The Self-Protect High-Energy Laser Demonstrator currently exists as a bulky, ground-based system for demonstration purposes. However, the Air Force holds an optimistic outlook regarding the miniaturization of the Self-Protect High-Energy Laser. They believe it can be transformed into a small pod that could undergo testing on an F-15 fighter aircraft by this year. Furthermore, they envision its eventual integration into other single-engine fighters, such as the F-16 Fighting Falcon and F-35 Lightning II. If airborne lasers prove to be as viable and effective as anticipated, future laser weapons could have a profound impact on aerial warfare. They would significantly enhance the survivability of fighters, bombers, tankers, and even transport planes against deadly anti-aircraft missiles. Looking further ahead, lasers have the potential to serve as extremely fast and precise air-to-air and air-to-ground weapons, offering virtually unlimited ammunition capacity. This transformation would revolutionize the capabilities of aircraft, providing them with a versatile and adaptable tool to engage targets with unmatched speed and accuracy. To realize this potential, ongoing research and development will be crucial in addressing challenges such as power generation, beam quality, and size reduction. By overcoming these hurdles, the integration of laser technology into aerial platforms could reshape the future of aerial warfare. Laser weapons are rapidly gaining prominence across various domains, ranging from small arms applications to ground or helicopter-mounted anti-drone and missile lasers tested by the Army, as well as close defense systems on U.S. Navy ships. Lasers offer several distinct advantages, including exceptional speed, as it's challenging to surpass the speed of light, stealth capabilities, and unparalleled precision. Moreover, laser weapons boast an extremely low cost per shot and virtually unlimited ammunition capacity, making them highly cost-effective and efficient. However, lasers require a significant amount of power to maintain coherence over long distances. They can also experience decreased effectiveness when operating in hazy atmospheric conditions, as the laser beam may scatter or be absorbed. Additionally, lasers generate thermal buildup during operation, which may necessitate cooling systems. Until recently, lasers have also relied on bulky power sources, presenting challenges in terms of size and weight. Self-Protect High-Energy Laser is foremost a defensive active protection system designed to destroy or disrupt incoming air-to-air and surface-to-air missiles. Currently, long-range missiles like Russia's 48N6 surface-to-air missile or R-37 air-to-air missile can threaten vulnerable support radar and tanker planes from over 200 miles away. While 4th and 5th generation jet fighters only become visible on radar at much shorter ranges, their odds of evading more maneuverable short-range missiles are thought to be as low as 20–30%. Though lasers lack a kinetic pushback effect, even a relatively weak laser could in theory quickly and precisely disrupt or destroy the sensitive optical guidance systems of incoming missiles. More powerful lasers could damage missile flight control fins, or even thermally trigger warheads. More powerful lasers could also be readily adaptable offensive weapons targeting other aircraft and even surface targets. As lasers could potentially do double duty as sensor systems, these could allow for very rapid engagement times. Of course, effective range and the number of seconds of sustained burn required to achieve destructive effects will be important factors in determining a laser system's effectiveness. Furthermore, a laser can only engage one target at a time and must be mounted in such a way that it can draw a direct line of fire to potential targets.
Cause I'm feeling like I'm running and I'm feeling like I gotta get away. Better know that I don't and I won't ever stop. Cause you know I gotta win every day. See that really wanna pop me. Just know that you will never flop me. And I know that I gotta be a little cocky. You ain't never gonna stop me. Every time I come in and I gotta set it, then I gotta go and then I gotta get it, then I gotta blow and then I gotta shut it. Any little thing and then I can get it be doing cause it doesn't matter cause I'm gonna dead it. Doritos Blaze, a bold new flavor that brings the heat.
Icy hot. Ice works fast. Heat makes it last. Feel the power of contrast therapy. So you can rise from pain. Icy hot.
What is going on there?
That's a ring of my profession. You don't know nothing about that.
Okay, well, can we get a close-up on that? There it is.
I don't know nothing about
What
it.
is the profession? Yeah, which profession are we talking about?
Just look at it.
Is it a legal profession?
Of course it's legal. It's a ring of my profession.
I'm trying to read it. Okay.
It's
too many diamonds.
Ah,
yeah, that's too bright. That's too bright. Go anyway. Oh, Mason, are you a Mason?
Of course I am.
Okay. You have a secret ceremony? Well, you might as well put your pinky out when you drink your drink.
Of course I am.
Quiet! Hush your mouth. I told y'all mother, y'all can't stop me now. Listen to me now. I'm lasting 20 rounds. And if you want me, then come on get me now. Since you with me now, then biggie bounce. I know you dig the way I switch my style.
New Mountain Dew Ice. A clear, refreshing lemon lime dew.
Nonetheless, a laser would have virtually unlimited ammunition, would be nearly impossible to dodge, and could be useful for attempting precise, non-lethal, or low collateral damage attacks on material and vehicle targets. This last point explains why the special operations community is slowly working towards deploying 60 kilowatt lasers on its AC-130J Ghost Rider gunships. Lasers could significantly increase the survivability of both stealth and non-stealth fighters when operating in denied airspace, forcing enemies to expend more missiles to oversaturate defenses. Energy weapons could also provide a badly needed close layer of defense for deep penetrating stealth bombers like the B-2 Spirit or forthcoming B-21. Currently, the B-2 relies entirely on stealth for survivability and lacked defenses against interceptors engaging them within visual range. Similarly, laser turrets installed on transport, tanker, and support planes could give these large and vulnerable aircraft a much better chance of surviving surprise missile attacks. If lasers are widely adopted, the current paradigm favoring stealth fighters with beyond visual range missiles may change as many more missiles are needed to achieve a high probability of kill. This could incentivize more aggressive engagements resulting in within visual range dogfights, possibly including laser-based attacks, which would not be easily outmaneuvered, intercepted, or decoyed. The Air Force's Self-Protect High-Energy Laser Demonstrator program consists of 3 components. The laser advancements for next-generation compact environments, developed by Lockheed and the Air Force Research Laboratory, the Strafe Control System devised by Northrop Grumman, and the Laser Pod Research and Development Container under development by Boeing. The laser advancements for next-generation compact environments, or LANCE, still needs to be ruggedized to survive at high altitudes and speeds, and miniaturized to fit in a pod that can prevent thermal buildup from cooking the aircraft and manage the necessary electrical loads. In fact, the latest F-35 Block 4 upgrade program includes upgraded engines that can generate more electricity, likely with direct energy integration in mind. The Air Force Research Laboratory also issued a notice for a 6-month study called Compact High Energy Laser Subsystem Engineering Assessment, CHELSI, to identify most promising technology options to scale laser power by next year. The more powerful CHELSI laser may eventually replace Self-Protect High-Energy Laser Demonstrator and would be more suitable for offensive applications. The Air Force desires an internal or conformal laser mount for its upcoming 6th-generation fighters, which would hug the airframe without compromising their aerodynamic and radar stealth characteristics. It has also indicated plans to integrate sufficient power management capabilities to support weapons with over 100 kilowatts of power for anti-air and surface targets. A third program involves the development of a laser-armed stealth drone designed to discreetly loiter over a hostile ballistic missile site in order to zap nuclear-tipped missiles during the boost phase. Earlier in 2010, the Air Force successfully tested a modified 747 jumbo jet armed with a chemical oxygen iodine laser to shoot down 2 ballistic missile targets. But the project was subsequently canceled because such an unstealthy plane would not be survivable in hostile airspace. The concept of using F-35 with directed energy weapons for anti-ballistic missile patrols is also being explored, though the idea may be impractical due to the limited loitering ability of the short-range stealth fighter. A stealth drone could address both the need for survivability and long endurance. In the fall of 2018, the Missile Defense Agency handed out contracts ranging from $37 million to Lockheed Martin, General Atomics, and Boeing to develop a low-powered laser demonstrator. The slow-moving drone must be able to transit 1,900 miles to a target location, then orbit the area at up to 63,000 feet high for 36 hours before returning to base. It must also have sufficient battery to sustain up to 30 minutes of 140 to 280 kilowatt laser fire. The program materials of the Franco-German Future Combat Air System, British Tempest stealth fighter programs, and the Russian MiG-41 interceptor explicitly state their intention to incorporate directed energy weapons into the design of their conceptual aircraft. Furthermore, the Japanese F-3 and the engines of the Typhoon are set to include a turbo generator that will generate and manage additional electricity, which is highly likely to be used for powering directed energy weapons.
Born in Hawaii.
Actor Jason Momoa devastated and heartbroken.
I come from a long lineage of watermen.
Metallica drummer Lars Ulrich, who owns a home on the island, tells ET he and his home are safe.
I'm on a big mountain in Hawaii, like 3,000 feet up.
Oprah's estate, which is about 36 miles from Lahaina, is also believed to be out of harm's way. But Shamar Moore's girlfriend, actress Desiree Dizon, shared heartbreak for her hometown.
I am from Lahaina. Some of my family is missing. We can't get a hold of them. My childhood home has burned to the ground, and thousands of people have lost everything.
You know, they were talking about climate change yesterday, and now we're learning that scientists and researchers are looking at how to change the weather on purpose. That's right. Lasers now could one day manipulate rain and lightning. CBS This Morning contributor Michio Kaku is a physics professor at City College of New York. Professor, nice to see you. Extraordinary seeing Al Gore and Bill Clinton there together with Charlie, wasn't it?
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, they did not get into this discussion, though. But it is fascinating. I mean, lasers, really, to change the weather?
That's right. Well, as Mark Twain once famously said, everyone complains about the weather, but no one ever does anything about it. Well, instead of doing a rain dance, we physicists are firing trillion-watt lasers into the sky to actually precipitate rain clouds and actually bring down lightning bolts. This is potentially a game changer.
But this is experimental.
It's experimental. However, in the laboratory so far it works. When you have water vapor and you have dust particles or ice crystals, you can precipitate rain. It condenses around the seeds. These seeds can also be created by laser beams. By firing trillion-watt lasers, you rip apart the electrons, creating what are called ions, and these ions act like seeds, like dust particles, bringing down rain and even lightning.
Go ahead.
Well, this fascinates me in part because, too, I remember reading the stories that China had used this during the Olympics, that the USSR had used this after Chernobyl to create rain clouds. I mean, did those really work then? We have some of these capabilities now?
Inconclusive. Even in the 60s, the CIA used this to bring down monsoons during the Vietnam War, to wash out the Viet Cong. Governments have been playing with this thing.
Alleged to.
Alleged to, right.
Yeah.
Now, we realize that for decades now, these governments have been alleged to have experimented with weather control, but nothing conclusive. This time we're bringing in the laws of physics rather than simply waving our hands and uttering mumbo jumbo. We're actually using trillion-watt lasers now. And in the laboratory, sure enough, they precipitate rain out of water vapor. Sure enough, you can actually bring down electricity down the beam.
So what does it mean for drought areas that need to have rain for crops? And if they don't have them, there's the consequences of famine.
Well, the bad news is if it's a clear blue sky, it's not going to do anything at all because it only takes water vapor that's already in the air and condenses it. However, for floods, for agriculture, for farmers, for people planning wedding parties, football games, you name it, outdoor events and agriculture and flooding and even hurricanes, all of them could be subject to weather modification.
Incredibly interesting. Professor Michio Kaku, thank you so much.
And it's very humbling knowing that many countries have tried to control the weather. None of these harebrained schemes have actually worked. However, now that we have global warming, some people are saying that we really should think about altering the weather itself. There is a doomsday plan proposed by a Nobel laureate, and that is that if the greenhouse effect spirals out of control, we should put rockets to shoot pollutants into the atmosphere to reflect sunlight back into outer space.
A curious cloud above the tri-state had meteorologists and military experts captivated yesterday. So what was flying over our heads? Eyewitness News' Stuart Hammer is in our newsroom now to explain. Stuart?
Well, Shelley, it popped up on radar like a severe storm, but the National Weather Service said it was only between 5,000 and 10,000 feet off the ground, and storms are much bigger than that. So they looked to chaff. It's a bird. It's a plane. No, it's military chaff.
We can see birds, insects, even bats sometimes, but it looked a little too concentrated for that.
Meteorologists at the National Weather Service say the echo of a thunderstorm over the tri-state Monday didn't come from nature.
Of course, we knew that that was not what it was with clear skies on satellite.
Radar can pick up more than clouds.
We were asking the public for help because we saw it on radar. We knew it wasn't precipitation.
A lot of speculation. Was it birds? At first, when I saw it, I thought maybe there was a fire. 50 miles long, 10 miles wide, that just doesn't make sense, for it to be geese.
Looking at his radar in Paducah, Chris Knowles had a pretty good idea what it was.
We could tell that it was non-meteorological, and it was very highly reflective. Chaff's been around since World War II, ever since the British developed radar.
Do you know what is a chemtrail?
What?
A chemtrail.
I do know what a chemtrail is.
Yeah, and is it true?
Well, there's a big debate.
Yeah.
Are you filming me?
Maybe. Okay. No.
I want to go on record with that.
Okay. No, but do you believe it? I don't think not.
Well, I don't have enough information for that.
Okay. Yeah, but because I saw a lot of videos on the internet, and it really looks believable.
Well, it's arguable both ways, I think.
Yeah?
Depends on which side you're on, but...
Yeah. But what is your personal opinion of it?
I think there's part of truth.
Part of truth, yeah. Yeah, we should investigate this, because when it's true, imagine so many people, they suffer of this.
Yeah, it's a necessary evil, as you could say.
Yeah.
About the chemtrail generator. Oh. Let's make sure that thing's working. We're going to check yourself. I got it. 3.6. Oh, look at that. They're working. They're working. You can see the chemtrails coming out of the engines here. Look at that. I'm dying to take a picture of that's cool. My neighbor, so I chemtrail I'm doing a video. Chemtrail generators are on. And yeah, there it is. Look, you can see them. All right, that's awesome. It's working.
Yeah. One thing I did is I grabbed mine, and I go along the basic guidelines. I got mine as an example every time, and this one I think I can go by.
Yeah. I mean, it's little things, like after an exclamation point, you need 2 spaces and then capital, but after a semicolon, only 1 space. Not like, where's that shit written?
It isn't. It's just
not
no.
Is that? It's not Antonio. Oh, probably, but they're cool.
When we go to ALS and we do our EPR, not EPR, but our bullets over there, it is absolutely, without a doubt, not anything like the bullets you put on a real EPR.
Really?
The bullets over there are 2 lines. It's 2 lines. Each bullet is 2 lines long, and it's like...
We don't do that.
No.
I spray my chemtrails at night so I can work all night and hide from prying eyes. I spray my chemtrails at night so I can draw your dreams and screams from the skies. Well, it's no conspiracy changing your democracy, and you think you got a beat on me. I'll turn to you and say,
Mountain Dew Livewire. The spark is back.
Is this the Express?
I never spray in the light of day, oh no. Unless it's all cloudy, then that's okay, you know. You've never seen us, we never spray in the light of day, oh no. I spray my chemtrails at night.
Storm chaser Chris Conley is an Army vet who jumped out of planes.
It's almost like a smoke screen for radar. So they could drop the chaff and it jammed the radar to where the signals couldn't even really see.
So chaff is made up of little tiny bits of aluminum foil or glass, something reflective. We'll just pretend it's this paper for now. And when chaff is thrown up into the air, well, it basically, as far as radar is concerned, makes planes hidden in plain sight. Chaff isn't a new technology. This Navy training film from the 60s shows its role.
Chaff usually consists of bundles of tinfoil strips.
Chaff returns on modern radar aren't new either.
When I was in Kansas prior to coming here, it was quite common.
But for about 8 hours, this mystery echo sweeping across the tri-state fascinated meteorologists. It's no bird, but it did come from a plane. And if you didn't see it, well, that's exactly what the military wants.
Occasionally the military will put some substances into the atmosphere that are detected by our radar, our weather surveillance radar. It's a substance that's called chaff.
The chaffs do look similar to the oncoming storm system, but they're actually an indication of an aircraft. We replayed the radar images from 8:40 a.m. Turns out several of those chaffs or planes were near the San Diego and Baja areas. Depending on how low and how fast, the planes could have created that sonic boom.
Let's talk about military chaff. You may or may not have heard of this. Now, chaff is something that the aircraft are equipped with. It's a spray that they put out in the atmosphere to confuse ground radars. It's a protection against, say, the radar-guided missiles, okay? So when they're flying these test patterns, they'll chaff the sky, and it shows up on radars. Now, I was looking at my radar wondering, could it have been a flight pattern? Well, here's what happened. I called the National Weather Service, and something interesting here. They confirmed that this right here, this and this are not rain. That was not rain on our radar. So this is not rain. What is it? Could it have been chaff? Well, we may never know.
But we've been dealing a lot with some military activity in terms of chaff anyway, and that's something that I experienced for the first time yesterday. That was a whole lot of fun. And that's where the military just basically dumps some of the tiny particles of plastic or metal mylar into the atmosphere. And basically they do this when we do already have weather in the area, because it's been around since as long as radar has been around, because that's the shot from yesterday's 6 o'clock show. What they do is try to confuse ground-based Doppler radar systems, and as Mark put it so kindly, ground-based meteorologists. And yes, ladies and gentlemen of the armed forces, it worked well.
See how the different lines converging there? guys, look at the sun I have today. Tuesday, 2/20/2018. Walpole, Mass. I mean, really? This is what we're looking at today?
Maui is also home to Owen Wilson and Clint Eastwood, who directed the Matt Damon film Hereafter, which filmed on Lahaina's historic Front Street. In the 2010 thriller, it's wiped out by a tsunami, but as the wildfires burned yesterday, the neighborhood looked more like a war zone. Another location impacted? The Four Seasons Resort, where the first White Lotus was filmed, is strongly discouraging non-essential travel to Maui. As for the journalists covering the devastation, it's not easy when most of the roads into town are closed.
That would be a doomsday mechanism to control the weather. But weather control is really for a Type 1 civilization, minimum 100 years into the future.
We're on a boat headed to Lahaina. This is one of the few ways to access the town. And what's incredible from this vantage point is the scale of destruction. We're talking miles of coastline completely burned.
Chapter 3. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which the Lord God had made. And he said unto the woman, Yea, hath God said, Ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden? And the woman said unto the serpent, We may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden God hath said, Ye shall not eat of it, neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die. And the serpent said unto the woman, Ye shall not surely die, for God doth know that in the day ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened, and ye shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree to be desired to make one wise, she took of the fruit thereof, and did eat, and gave also unto her husband with her, and he did eat. And the eyes of them both were opened, and they knew that they were naked, and they sewed fig leaves together, and made themselves aprons. And they heard the voice of the Lord God walking in the garden in the cool of the day. And Adam and his wife hid themselves from the presence of the Lord God amongst the trees of the garden. And the Lord God called unto Adam, and said unto him, Where art thou? And he said, I heard thy voice in the garden, and I was afraid, because I was naked, and I hid myself. And he said, Who told thee that thou wast naked? Hast thou eaten of the tree whereof I commanded thee that thou shouldest not eat? And the man said, The woman whom thou gavest to be with me gave me of the tree, and I did eat. And the Lord God said unto the woman, What is this that thou hast done? And the woman said, The serpent beguiled me, and I did eat. And the Lord God said unto the serpent, Because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle, and above every beast of the field. Upon thy belly shalt thou go, and dust shalt thou eat all the days of thy life. And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. It shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel.
I greet the English-speaking pilgrims and visitors taking part in today's audience.
Well, you're right. It affects the soul because it's a house of prayer and faith. Boy, it affects the heart because it's a place of love and gathering in community. It affects all the senses because for the French, my God, for the world, Notre Dame Cathedral represents what's most noble, what's most uplifting, what's most inspirational about the human project. And to see that reduced to ashes, my oh my, I remember our song, From the Ashes, We Rise Up.
So let's dedicate this to General Kelly, the Border Patrol, and the ICE agents for doing such an incredible job. Right? This was written by Al Wilson a long time ago. And I thought of it having to do with our borders and people coming in. And we know what we're going to have. We're going to have problems. We have to very, very carefully vet. We have to be smart. We have to be vigilant. So here it is, the snake. It's called the snake. On her way to work one morning, down the path along the lake, a tender-hearted woman saw a poor, half-frozen snake. His pretty-colored skin had been all frosted with the dew. "Poor thing," she cried, "I'll take you in, and I'll take care of you." The border. "Take me in, O tender woman. Take me in, for heaven's sake. Take me in, O tender woman," sighed the vicious snake. She wrapped him up all cozy in a comforter of silk and laid him by her fireside with some honey and some milk. She hurried home from work that night, and as soon as she arrived, she found that pretty snake she'd taken in had been revived. "Take me in, O tender woman. Take me in, for heaven's sake. Take me in, O tender woman," sighed that vicious snake. She clutched him to her bosom. "You're so beautiful," she cried. "But if I hadn't brought you in by now, oh heavens, you would have died." She stroked his pretty skin again and kissed him and held him tight. But instead of saying thank you, that snake gave her a vicious bite. "Take me in, O tender woman. Take me in, for heaven's sake. Take me in, O tender woman," sighed the vicious snake. "I have saved you," cried the woman, "and you've bitten me, heavens, why? You know your bite is poisonous, and now I'm going to die." "Oh, shut up, silly woman," said the reptile with a grin. "You knew damn well I was a snake before you took me in." Does that explain it, folks? Does that explain it?
Trust in me.
Hello? Are you there?
What are you doing with the rest of your life?
Catching up on some me time, find God,
My soul loves Jesus. My soul loves Jesus. My soul loves Jesus. Bless his name. My soul, it loves Jesus. Oh, yes it does. Oh, yes it does. Oh, yeah, my soul. My soul. Over in the midnight hour, my soul. He speaks to my soul. Tells me everything is gonna be all right. My soul. It loves Jesus. I'm so glad my soul loves Jesus. Bless his name.